Well, the key card works. The mic still works. It's good to be back. Good morning, 6:04 on a Friday. It is great to have you here on 95.7 FM KCMO Talk Radio. And we are streaming on the KCMO Talk Radio app after a 10-day bout with pneumonia. I'm going to make it through a Friday show. I might be a little winded once in a while if I get a little worked up over a topic or two, but that's where John and Mark are going to come in and bail me out. So good morning, guys. Thanks for holding it down while I was out.
You're going to be standing there with your hands on your hips like the Chiefs defense Sunday night.
Exactly. Seriously. I mean, man, you wouldn't believe it. This thing, I feel like I aged 30 years with this pneumonia the last week and a half. I mean, going up and down the stairs, I was like winded. It's like, this is not good. But I knew I was good enough to get in here on a Friday and close out the week. Thank you to Paul Gallant for filling in admirably this week. Thank you. That's a very tough spot.
It is. 4
straight days filling in, not knowing if you're coming back the next day or not. And I am very grateful for him. The boss here told me to take off the whole week. I said, I got to make it in on a Friday. Plus, I think the kids were sick of me critiquing their breakfast every morning. So it was like, get them out of here. I'm done. Seen enough. Get them out. But I'll tell you what, I have never been this sick in my life. Now, I've been blessed with great health, not a lot of issues at all. Now, it helps to be young too. But take care of myself, try to stay pretty healthy. But I'll tell you what, I have never felt in my life the way I did the last week and a half with this pneumonia. I mean, what started off as just, I thought maybe a head cold, a flu, something like that, ends me in, urgent care on the morning of Thanksgiving in Dallas, by the way, because my dad and brother were all set. I mean, we were all set to go to this game. And my brother's a huge Cowboys fan. So we go down there the day before Thanksgiving on Wednesday. And they're all fired up, and I'm feeling like absolute dog you-know-what. And this is something that was years in the making because we knew that this was going to be the year that the Chiefs and the Cowboys were finally going to play in Dallas. So the schedule comes out. It's a Thanksgiving game, and they say, what do you want to do? Do you want to make this happen? And I said, well, I got to run it by the boss at home. You know how that goes. So God bless her. She signs off on it. We celebrated Thanksgiving the day after Thanksgiving. We got home Friday morning, did a little Thanksgiving celebration on Friday. All that went okay, except for the fact that I'm in an urgent care in Dallas, and there's like 2 of them open on Thanksgiving morning, getting amoxicillin. But then Friday and Saturday and Sunday, and nothing's getting better. So finally, Monday morning, I dragged myself to a different urgent care back here in Kansas City, and I'm like, I need something here. This amoxicillin's not doing anything. I feel as sick as I've ever felt. And they say, well, I don't know. I mean, I think you just got to battle through it. I said, no, something's off here. They said, well, your lungs sound okay, but if you want, you can get an x-ray on your lungs. I'm like, all right, is that $5,000? Is that $15,000? Like, what are we looking at here? They're like, oh, no, it's like $50. I'm like, okay, then take the damn x-ray on my lungs, okay? They're like, we don't think it's pneumonia, but we'll do it. They come back. Oh, yeah, it's in both lungs. They're like, look at all this gray in your lungs. I'm like, thanks, guys.
Yeah, I can feel it.
Yeah. I'm like, thanks so much, guys. All right, so it's been 5 days now of battling through this thing. I feel as good today as I felt in 2 weeks. I mean, who would have thought that getting a ticket would have been a high point of my last couple of weeks? But you know what? It was. A speeding ticket 2 weeks ago today, I guess it was, maybe 2 weeks ago yesterday, was a highlight of my last 2 weeks. So unbelievable. But got through it, and I'm grateful to be back with you guys and doing this. And we have a guest-heavy show today to try to ease back into it. But you're going to hear from a lot of good people. We'll get Kendall Gammon next hour on this Chiefs-Texans game. We got our buddy Chris Ketz at 8:05 from Channel 9. Phil Lavoda, the Jackson County interim executive.
He's been busy.
I know. He's had a lot going on. So he'll be here at 9 o'clock as well. So we have a busy morning for you as we get it rolling on 95.7 FM. And thank you for your kind wishes on Facebook and on Instagram and on so many of the other social media platforms where a lot of you were reaching out and wishing me well. So, and a lot of over-the-counter social media doctors out there, too, give me some recommendations on what I should be taking and what I should be ingesting. And I appreciate all of it, but I will say I just went with the doctor's orders. And a lot of ChatGPT, I'll tell you what, I didn't spend a lot of time on any social media, but I did spend a lot of time talking to ChatGPT about what my symptoms were and what I was feeling. And now I feel like we're getting close to being best friends. So it was just a weird week and a half. Hopefully the worst is over. I know the worst is over. And thank you again to Paul Gallant for helping out over the last several days. It's good to be back. Mark, you didn't lose your shirt in any crazy parlays going over on the Missouri side with their sports betting launching on Monday. You hanging in there? You doing okay?
Oh, man, we're doing great. They're giving out some free money over there in Missouri.
I know.
Last night, Thursday night football, Chiefs, if they score 1 point on Sunday night, that's going to be a free $50 if you go over there. So, I mean, it's great.
They're hooking you up with our friends over at FanDuel,
FanDuel,
huh?
yep.
Man, how about that? Good deal. You know, it's interesting because when you're sick like this, you kind of take a step back from the news as much as you can. I didn't watch a lot of news at all. Watched a lot of, like, forensic files. You know, those, like, murder mystery stories that then get solved by some high-level forensics. And I like those shows. They're a half hour. I'm not big on having to sit there for an hour and watch a show. So give me 30 minutes, keep it moving. Kind of like golf now. I'm a 9-hole golfer. I like 30-minute shows. I just want to get it going, keep it moving, and go right through it. But I'm always fascinated by the scientific side of how they catch these lowlives. So I watched a lot of that, watched a lot of sports casually at night, and didn't check out a lot of news. So it's different when you're kind of in this headspace and you're sick and you don't want to be deep in the weeds in news because it allows you to really take a step back and just kind of reset yourself on all these things.
We did get a new Andy Reid drop this week.
Oh, did we?
On F11 if you want to look at it.
Oh, okay. A new Andy Reid drop on F11. Oh,
We're going to try to tickle your tonsils on every play, every game.
Yeah.
So that's a good one coming back from your injury there.
I did see that. Tickle your tonsils. Jeez, Andy. I mean, they haven't been tickling much. I'll tell you what, they really haven't been this season. I mean, I was like I said, I was there in Dallas. I was sick with pneumonia the whole time, but I'm watching this team and I'm like, no one's tickling my tonsils right now. I could have used a little tonsil tickle there, Andy, in Dallas. No one tickled them. No good tickle tonsilling going on down there.
I think the defense was getting their tonsils kicked in.
I would say so. I would say so. They were getting absolutely smoked, man. But when you take a step back from all the news, one thing when it comes to just the overarching coverage of, let's say, Donald Trump right now, one thing is very obvious. When you're just flipping around the news, casually scrolling through the news, one thing becomes very obvious to me. As we sit here with about 3 weeks left until 2026 starts, this is their last chance. 2026 is the media and the Trump haters' last chance to get him. Because if they don't get him in 26, win the House, maybe the Senate, he's going to be rolling those last couple of years. This is it. This is 10 years in the making. Everything about this guy and this administration is going to be negative. Everything. Every single thing. Any good news will be buried. Any bad news will be amplified. There will be faux outrage. There will be people taking the moral high ground on whether or not Tim Walz is a special retard. There will be all of that stuff going on. People will be more upset about whether or not Trump should have called Tim Walz a retard than they will be about, alleged hundreds of millions of dollars in fraud from the Somalian community in Minneapolis. And it's all going to be through the prism of this is their last chance. This is it. Right? Because after 26, Trump's basically done. Got a couple of years left. Then he's exiting the stage. He's leaving. There's nothing else that they're really going to do. 10 years in the making of finally, air quotes, getting Trump comes to a head next year. The coverage, the TDS, will be as bad as it's ever been. And as I just casually watched the news over the last few days, that was my big takeaway when it comes to what's to come in 2026 in this country. So today's a big day for the World Cup and all the actions in Washington, D.C. I wanted to try to get back for yesterday's show, but I didn't think I was there yet. I didn't want to have a big show on Thursday and then be like, boy, I can't do Friday. So I figured I'd give it an extra day. But I wanted to talk to Quentin Lucas because, of course, he's in D.C. He's there for the pomp and circumstance of what's going to be happening today. So part of the puzzle of the World Cup will be completed today when most of the teams will be put into the 12 groups for next year's tournament. Then we'll get the full picture tomorrow when FIFA announces the matchups for the 72 group stage games. This is all happening later this morning, and we're going to have on Pam Kramer. She is the CEO of KC 2026 in about 15 minutes. That's the organization that's basically overseeing the World Cup here for Kansas City. There are politicians involved, but it's heavily apolitical. They basically found competent business people to take this out of the hands of the politicians because they're worthless. That's effectively what KC 2026 has done. And they've done it very successfully, I might add. There are a lot of cities that are not doing a great job of being prepared for the World Cup. And from what I've heard from people involved, Andrew Giuliani, who is leading the FIFA task force for the White House to make sure things go well next summer, he's happy with Kansas City. He's not happy with some of the other major cities involved, but he's happy with Kansas City. So if he's happy with Kansas City, we're happy with Andrew Giuliani. But they've been pleased with KC 2026. Once again, no thanks to the politicians. Yes, the politicians will do their victory laps. They'll do their cartwheels. They'll say, look at us. It's amazing what we're doing. A lot of this is being set up and handled behind the scenes by serious business people who don't need the accolades, not looking to run for office, just looking to make sure that Kansas City has a very successful World Cup coming up here in just a few months. So a lot of this is happening today. Pam Kramer will be here in 15 minutes, and we'll find out more about what this day is all about. Because here's what's going to happen. We are not going to find out necessarily which teams are going to be in Kansas City today.
Yeah.
That's not what today's about.
Right, so pop that bubble here.
Yeah. No.
But it's big for soccer fans nonetheless.
Yes, big for you soccer fans, I guess I might say.
Yeah.
No, but I'm excited too because we're getting closer to kind of finding out what this is all going to look like next summer.
When you're a fan of a tournament and the draw of who gets in, just like an NCAA here for us is the thing, right? Mm-hmm. You magnify that there on the world stage.
Exactly. So this will be an insight into maybe what teams might end up coming to Kansas City. Now, one thing that I was reading yesterday in the Kansas City Star is that of the 4 teams drawn into Group J, 3 of those are guaranteed to play at Arrowhead Stadium. So if you want to keep an eye on a certain group today, during this announcement later this morning, 3 of the teams in Group J will play at Arrowhead. So something to watch.
Well, and the plus is that you've got plenty of time with Rosetta Stone. You get the Bad Bunny one for the Super Bowl.
Yes.
And then you can pick the 3 here of the 4 that might come, if you need them. I mean, we might get Ireland. You'd be good to go.
Yeah, exactly. That would be nice, huh?
Yeah.
We could welcome.
Ireland would be a lot of fun in this town, wouldn't it?
That would be great. Get England too, maybe? I don't know. Now we're maybe
certainly
stretching.
Italy, but that goes without saying in this town.
That would be great as well. It's going to be a line outside of Jasper's. That's what's going to happen. Jeez. It's going to be a tough ticket.
Specials.
Exactly right. So that's what's happening later this morning, and Pam Kramer will break it down in 10 minutes here on KCMO. Something else I was intrigued by when I was reading through the news over the last couple of days, and we'll have on Missouri State Rep Mike Steinmeier at 8:20, because he's the guy who has put forth legislation down in Jefferson City. He's filed legislation that would allow Kansas City to separate from Jackson County, and it has been called Jackson. You like that?
I see where they were going, what they were going for.
Hey,
anyway.
we were just talking about the UK. Instead of Brexit, we
I'm
got
just thinking
Jackson.
Of a Pee Wee Herman scandal from decades ago, so I'm sorry.
I know, that's what I thought about too.
Okay, I'm not the only one.
No, I was like, Jackson.
Yeah,
What are we doing here, guys? Yeah. I mean, I know you're trying to be cute. Everything's, Brexit or, deflate gate. Everything's got a gate on the end of it or an exit on the end of it.
Exit, yeah, it's the latest.
I don't think it works with Jackson County, okay? No. I mean, Jackson, that's really what we're going for here?
I don't think you want to search that in Google immediately without your safe search on.
No, I'm going to avoid that one, John. I'm going to avoid that one. Yeah, let's not go there. All right, Mark, I think you made that mistake once here recently. You were Googling something for the show, and you wanted to make sure on the air that we all knew about this so you didn't get in trouble at the office.
Yeah, it went south, but we're back north now. We're good to go.
Yes, you're good. You have not been thrown off of the company computers yet.
The all-time marketing classic, of course, Super Bowl 30 with the 3 X's.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Whoopsies.
Boom, chicka, wow, wow.
Exactly. So this is being dubbed Jackson. The legislation would create a series of steps for Kansas City and Jackson County voters to ultimately decide whether the city should operate independently from the county. The proposed constitutional amendment, if approved by lawmakers, would need to pass on a statewide ballot next year. So then what that would do is if it passed on a statewide ballot, yes, the state would vote on whether or not Jackson County and Kansas City could then end up splitting, would then go to the local level. So it would start as a statewide ballot issue, and then if it passed, it would be decided here locally in Jackson County and Kansas City on the idea of splitting, John.
As a resident, I'm undetermined. I can't figure out whether it's good or bad, but my experience suggests it won't be good.
Well, I would agree with that. Like, I'm not necessarily a fan of this at all.
Okay.
I know there's people in eastern Jackson County who are like, you know what, screw it, let's just decouple from the city and all move on and go our merry way. But I would just say there is value, even though right now the relationship between the city and the county could not be worse.
Mm-hmm.
Now, maybe it's getting a little better with Frank White out of the way, but it's really bad. It can be good, and it can be beneficial, and it can save money for both parties, right? We talk about sharing a jail, all these things they should have done over the last decade they didn't do, largely because of political incompetence led by Frank White. Just because you had bad politicians doesn't mean you shouldn't potentially try to make this work.
Yeah, like sports, the conference always turns. You can try to make a rule to keep someone from winning or something, but eventually things move on, right?
Yes.
So I would say things are on the uptick, so I was kind of questioning now. Are you guys a little late? I mean,
yes.
I understand why, but now?
You're 10 years late. And so I'm not necessarily a fan, but we'll hear more from the guy introducing it, Mike Steinmeier, at 8:20. Well, it's good to hear Bill O'Reilly back. And it's great to be back on KCMO Talk Radio. Thank you again to Paul Gallant for filling in after I wrapped up a bout with pneumonia this week. Sickest I have ever been. So I didn't want to leave you here for a few days, but I really had no choice. I thought about trying to muscle through it yesterday, but my voice was the thing. If I just had a desk job, I probably could have come back on Wednesday because my body was starting to feel a lot better. But I got to talk for 4 hours, so that's kind of where it became problematic for me in getting back into this chair. And I didn't want John and Mark to have to really carry me. They've done enough this week. So I said, let's take the extra day. Let's make sure I can get my voice through a 4-hour show and not lose my breath. Because, man, I felt like I was 70 years old at points over the last week or so, not being able to, just walk up the stairs without being like, It was bad,
What are we
John.
talking about, man?
I know. Oh,
Now the
boy.
voice is coming through loud and clear.
Good. Well, it wasn't even like yesterday. I was getting a little nervous, but by yesterday I said, boy, these kids, they need me out of the house. They don't want me critiquing breakfast items anymore, and they were kind of getting sick of all that. So I said, I got to get back to work. They need me out of here, and let's get to it on a Friday morning. So this, I didn't do a lot of like heavy news watching or reading over the last few days. Outside of seeing Trump call Tim Walz a retard, I didn't see a lot of other things. But I did see this amazing feel-good story. And this is the kind of stuff, man, that we need more of. A lot of stuff, we see, we read, it's all negative. It's all just, oh, man, oh, gosh, this is horrible news. But then you get the feel-good story like this. Ed Bambus, 88-year-old Army veteran, working full-time at a Michigan grocery store. He went viral after an Australian influencer shared a video of Bambus opening up about his financial struggles. So this Australian influencer was going to be in Detroit. He reached out. He said, hey, I want to kind of share a great story of somebody who needs help right now. And everyone's like, you got to find this dude at this grocery store, Ed Bambus, 88-year-old Army veteran working full-time at a grocery store in Michigan to make ends meet. Well, his story went viral. A GoFundMe has raised $1.5 million for this man who lost his wife several years ago, had to sell his house, served the country, worked at General Motors for a bunch of years, retired in 99, but his pension went away in 2012. So he had to go get a job. And here's what it sounded like, courtesy of NBC News.
What was your name?
Ed.
88-year-old Ed Bambus clocks into his grocery store job 5 days a week.
I'm 88.
And still working?
Yes, I have to.
The Army veteran worked for General Motors, but says his pension was wiped out when the company went bankrupt back in 2012.
The thing that hurt me the most was my wife was real sick. And when they took the pension, they also took the health care coverage. I sold the house, and we made it through. My wife died 7 years ago. Since then, I've been trying to reestablish myself.
His story catching the attention of Australian influencer Sam Wiedenhofer.
I'd like to share your story and try and, get people to help you retire.
Oh, thank you.
This moment going viral. More than 8 million people have viewed the video on TikTok alone. Users commenting saying things like, he's our grandpa now. We must do better for our veterans. And let's retire this sweet man. In the video, Sam gives Ed a $400 tip.
It goes a long way to help me.
But what Ed doesn't know is that the internet has stepped up in a big way, raising more than $1.5 million for this veteran. Ed's son, Mike, working on a plan to surprise him with the life-changing money.
Does your dad have any idea how much money was raised?
No, he is totally in the dark on how much there is. You hear a lot of bad out there in the world, but there's a lot of good too.
The kindness of thousands of strangers coming together, rallying to help one man retire.
And I saw this story on my Instagram. I saw it on Facebook. I love everything about this story. We talk a lot about the division that we all have, but there are thousands of people who donated money to this 88-year-old Army veteran. Step to the plate. Red, white, and blue. Democrats, Republicans, Independents just said, let's do a good thing for a good man who served this country. And now $1.5 million later in this GoFundMe, you have this 88-year-old Army veteran who's working full-time at a Michigan grocery store who's about to receive life-changing money. And I will tell you what, I don't want to sound like Bernie Sanders here, but I will for a second. When you've got 88-year-olds who worked at General Motors, who lost their pension because the company went belly up, and that same company got billions of dollars in bailout money from the government, and yes, they had to pay it back, but still, and their current CEO is making $30 million, and the guy who grinded away for years can't get a dime left in his pension because of what happened to the company, I'm just sorry. That's how you get more Mamdanis. Okay? That's how people say, you know what, screw the system, burn it down, this is ridiculous. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying it's how you get more of that. I was missing this story all week. I was really bummed I couldn't talk about it. But then I saw it was continuing last night. So I'm like, all right, it's still relevant on a Friday morning here.
Going into the weekend. It's a great story.
It is. And that is Dave Portnoy, the founder of Barstool Sports, bouncing around Kansas City this week doing his infamous pizza reviews.
Yeah, I think he did 5 of them maybe. I think he recorded them all on the same night, but he's spreading them out throughout the week to get all his content.
Yes, and that's what Kate asked me. She's like, is he like here for something? I said, listen, here's what's going on. He's doing this in Kansas City because he's got to help out his sports betting partner, which we will not name on the air because it's different than our partner with FanDuel. And part of this is to go around and do these pizza reviews. So I think he just recorded all these in one day, and he's rolling them out throughout the week. So I saw he did Pizza Tasio. They're a good partner here of Cumulus Media, and they got an 8.1 out of 10. Congratulations. And by the way, well-deserved.
Woo! He liked the undercarriage.
Yeah. So
I thought,
good.
okay.
I really like their undercarriage as well.
I mean, I love Pizza Tasio. The problem is for me, I can't get to one within 20 minutes of the house, and I don't want cold pizza.
Yeah, that's got to be a factor.
The one time we got it, I got home and I had to put it in the oven, and it's no one's fault. I just don't live close enough to one. So we don't get it a lot, but it's great pizza. He gives Pizza Tasio an 8.1. He gave Northeast Pizza a 7.7.
Not been there.
Strong showing. Have not been there either. He gave, let me see here. He gave Grinders, which I've had their pizza. Not bad. Give it a 6.1. And then he gave Minsky's a 6.5. Now, he went to Minsky's because Bobby Witt Jr. told him to go to Minsky's. And that was mistake number one. This is nothing personal with Minsky's.
Sure.
All I'm going to say is, if you follow Dave Portnoy in these pizza reviews, what he's looking for is really more of a traditional New York-style pizza. And he always eats, as Mark noted off the air here just a minute ago, Mark, and I'll let you lay this one up. I'll put it on a tee for you. There's a certain kind of pizza that Portnoy always does with these pizza reviews.
Yeah, he loves the New York-style pizzas, and he just eats cheese.
Exactly.
That's it.
Exactly. What makes Minsky's is the way they do the toppings.
Here.
So knowing that, if you're Bobby Witt, don't recommend him. I mean, this is a bad job by Bobby Witt Jr. Of all the places in Kansas City, knowing full well that Portnoy's going to do a pizza review, and he's only going to do cheese. And what makes Minsky's is how they do their toppings. You can't tell them to go to Minsky's. This is amateur hour by Bobby Witt. Great shortstop, amazing baseball player. He was way out over his skis on this one, John.
Well, I guess guys from Texas come here. You've got, we're not New York, but I guess we've got a little bit of history here with Italian and cuisine here in Kansas City.
And that's where Bobby's got to leave it to the rest of us, okay?
I was just telling Mark, I realized when I walked in, it wasn't like Dave came here and said, I'm looking for the best pizza. Dave just is going to pizza joints and trying their pizza and saying, oh, this one's good, this one's not so good. So I don't know if we have determined what the best one in the city is per se, but on this visit, he made a winner out of the total.
Pizza Tasio.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I will say, I think Bobby Witt gets paid by Minsky's.
Oh,
so,
really?
Yeah.
Oh, then that's super ridiculous then.
Well, I think that he's saying it because, he does commercials. So it would be like him saying, oh, yeah, go to Community America Credit Union, too.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
Patrick
a great
Mahomes
point.
Asking if he's got State Farm.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that pneumonia is kicking back in on me here, guys. All right, here's Dave Portnoy reviewing Minsky's last night.
Oh, now this is what I expect Midwestern pizza to look like. Did your camera just die? No. That is what I expect Midwest. Deep, thick, cold weather. Got a little Domino's to it on the inside. Totally different than the first two spots. One bite, everyone knows rules. Minsky's from 1976. I don't know what that means. Bobby Witt called out. He's a great baseball player, Bobby Witt.
I think he was one of the people who recommended it.
Really, Bobby Witt. Should have had him on. This is what Bobby Witt recommended over Toskios. Now, this is a bar. People are sitting down, they're drinking, they're watching the game, they're having a great time. Toskios pure pizza. This on the pizza scale, we're gonna have to go 6.5. This is a different style pizza. Some people may love it. Midwestern may love it. Chiefs fans may love it. I like it charcoal thin. It's just the opposite of what I like. Minsky's, there it is.
All right, so that was Portnoy. I thought he was actually being pretty nice about his review.
I think it's accurate. I like Minsky's for the reasons he doesn't.
Yeah.
So he described it well.
He described it well, and he's like, yeah, if you watching a game at a bar, having a couple of beers, yeah, it's a vibe. It's a vibe. But it's not like the slice of pizza that is your traditional, got to have a slice of fill in the blank. It's not that kind of pizza. And if it's true that Bobby Witt's got a partnership or an endorsement deal with Minsky's, now I'm super ticked off at him because he's just helping out his partner. That's all that is. But Pizza Tasio coming out on top, that's where it's at. So good job by Portnoy, at least recognizing some of the best pizza in Kansas City. And I think a fair rating for Minsky's, too, with a 6.5. It just, it is what it is.
Well, he states his preferences, and you go from there, right? As long as you know the reviewers' critiques, then it's easy to follow.
He was at the Minsky's in River Market is where he was for that review. And it's a longer video. It's about a 2-minute video. And as he's doing the review, someone in the back is like, go down the street. Go to Il Lazzarone.
Yeah, that's a good one. Huh?
I love that pizza. That when we lived down there, it's Neapolitan-style pizza. But, man, I think that's some of the best pizza in town. And you got Portnoy, literally, he's a stone's throw from Il Lazzarone in River Market, and he's going to freaking Minsky's because Bobby Witt Jr. put up a post on X about it. I mean, that's ridiculous.
We could help him out if he were looking for the best. I know we all have our perfect places. Grandview's got Providence Pizza.
Yes.
It's in the Crossroads. It's outstanding. So there are lots of great places owned and operated besides the chains. I pretty much like everybody's pizza, so I'll go for Casey's. So at least he didn't go there, right?
If he went to Casey's and did the breakfast pizza, I would have been more outraged.
That's
I agree.
an Iowa chain.
Yeah, I know. You're right about that there, Mark. But still, it's a staple here. There's no doubt about it. It's a staple. So good job by Portnoy, and I'm glad he was here. But he was here because he was helping out his sports betting partners get the new month started because December 1 was obviously a big day here in the state of Missouri.
He would have loved Villa Capri Pizza.
Okay.
Yeah. The other day I mentioned, too, down in Hollister right there by Branson, Mr. Gilberti's. You can look that one up. That's one place he rated very highly when he was here in Missouri that was about last month or in the summertime.
Nice.
Yeah,
nice.
Mr. Gilberti.
Very cool. Very good. Well, it is absolutely outstanding to be back with you. I'm glad we're back. And thank you to Paul Gallant for filling in the last couple of days. I have never been this sick in my life. I mean, we were down in Dallas. My dad, my brother, and I were down there for the game because my brother's a huge Dallas Cowboys fan. And when we found out, we all knew for years that this was going to be the year that the Chiefs played in Dallas because of how they do the scheduling, right? The AFC East or AFC West was going to play the NFC East this year. So the schedule comes out. We find out, hey, it's Thanksgiving. You guys want to try to do it? Yeah, sure. All right. I sign off with the boss at home. She says, okay, God bless her. And I'm sitting there in Dallas, waking up on Thanksgiving morning, sicker than I've ever been, ending up in an urgent care in Dallas, getting amoxicillin, thinking I've just got a flu or a head cold or a sinus infection. Little do I know, after spending 3-4 more days absolutely miserable, including just basically sitting there at the game with a fever, that I actually have pneumonia in both of my lungs. Because on Monday morning, I said, I can't keep doing this. I'm not getting better. I go to another urgent care back here in Kansas City, and they finally decide, hey, we should probably do an x-ray after saying, we don't hear anything in your lungs, but we got nothing else for you right now. They come back, and they're like, whoa, you got pneumonia in both of these lungs. We didn't hear anything, but you got pneumonia in both of your lungs. I'm like, great.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks. I'm not blaming any one person at all. It's just, I mean, it was a miserable, absolutely miserable experience that I wouldn't wish on anybody. But someone on my Facebook page said that Rex Archer must have a voodoo doll of me or something.
Thanksgiving.
And he just...
Boy, I love Thanksgiving.
The former Kansas City health director wanted to ruin my Thanksgiving, and boy, did he ever ruin my Thanksgiving. All right, let's go up to the Northland. A Walmart in the Northland taking center stage. So here's the story. You had a family that was accused of shoplifting. And Walmart has someone who's monitoring the self-checkout, where obviously, you know, if you're going to try to shoplift, it's going to be through self-checkout. I'm a big self-checkout guy. I love self-checkout. I'm glad that places like Walmart monitor this stuff, though, because if not, people are going to take things, and they're just going to pass on the cost to the rest of us. So up at this Walmart in the Northland, a family starts walking out. And it just turns out that Walmart flagged them for shoplifting. The off-duty cop who's at the Walmart is like, all right, you've been busted for shoplifting. And they arrest 2 of the teenage boys who are with the family. Of course, there's a racial component to this, sad to say, but the family happened to be black. The cop happens to be white. That sets off a whole nother set of circumstances. And I want to play part of the clip from Fox 4. Here's what it sounded like last night.
While Jeremiah is detained, the group tries to figure out what's going on.
I literally watched him scan everything. I have a receipt.
The asset protection employee tells them what she says she saw. The recording stops. Police take the teenagers outside and handcuff them. Their mom, Vaquandra, goes inside to sort it out.
I feel like they had already immediately criminalized them because they never once asked questions.
Kansas City, Missouri police say several of its officers responded to a shoplifting call. Walmart Asset Protection reviewed video and cross-referenced the family's receipts with the items.
They were uncuffed and let go, and at that point I was just so angry. I said, you know what? I said, take all of this stuff. I used choice words. All of this take it back, return it all.
KCPD reported the family did have unpaid items in the shopping cart, some peppermint sticks, and a gallon of sweet tea.
Stop right there. This was about a 3-minute package. I didn't play the whole thing. I've got about a minute here in the middle of the whole package. They had unpaid for items in the cart. So we're about 2 minutes into the sob story on how these people are getting arrested for allegedly shoplifting.
We had the receipts.
You hear people scream, we paid for everything. We got the receipts. They're doing the sob story from the mother saying, you know, I just take it all back. We don't want any of it anymore. And then it's like, let's bury the lead here and note that there were things in the shopping cart that were not paid for. That's the story. That's where the story leads. You lead with that if you're Fox 4. This is a terrible job by Fox 4 in reporting on this story. The story is people were busted shoplifting. Walmart was correct. Now, whether or not they accidentally didn't pay for it or they accidentally had it in the shopping cart is almost irrelevant. I just got a speeding ticket 2 weeks ago here. That was the highlight of my Thanksgiving.
You were accidentally going fast.
And I was accidentally going too fast. It doesn't matter. I got to take it easy here. My pneumonia's starting to act up.
Take a breath.
Okay?
I'm with you. I've seen the routine of, I don't want that, and they'll just set it aside or something, or maybe it fell back into the cart on your way out the door. But once you get to the cashier line, that's the perimeter, not the front door. Right?
Bingo.
Right?
Exactly.
Or the parking lot, et cetera.
So you go on to then see these boys who are also acting unruly. I mean, they're teenagers, young men, whatever you want to refer to them as. They get arrested by the off-duty cop. They happen to have things that were not paid for in the shopping cart. And somehow the victims here, them? That's where my sympathy's supposed to go? And Fox 4's reporting on this was just comical.
Worth $5 total. The family said...
Okay. So the stuff that was accidentally in the cart and not paid for was worth $5. Do I think you throw a stink over $5? Well, guess what? It's technically shoplifting, right? And if somebody is working behind the scenes at Walmart and their job is to figure out who's going through self-checkout and who is not paying for items, it's not their job to determine whether or not the person who just didn't pay for that item might have mistakenly not paid for the item. That it's not their job to interpret any of this.
And they weren't admitting it. You could hear the guy saying, we paid for everything.
Yeah. No, you didn't.
They didn't.
They did not pay for everything.
It was a simple mistake, not an orchestrated theft. Police acknowledge...
Wait, who cares? Who cares?
I love that.
Jeez.
Nobody cares.
They handcuffed some people involved, they say, for resisting officers.
These are kids. These are kids. They did not resist anything because they were not aware of anything.
Walmart is not pressing charges, and the police let the teens go. Working for You, Fox 4 asked Walmart for a response, and the company shared this statement. We are aware of discrepancies that involved multiple transactions, and the matter was resolved at the store. From asset protection to police, the family wishes this didn't end up with 2 teenagers in handcuffs.
It is something I'm going to remember forever.
The family tells me they explained the few unpaid items in the cart to employees. They say it was confusion thinking another family member paid for it before tossing it into the cart. And they say they would have happily showed the receipt and paid the difference rather than be put into handcuffs. Walmart also in contact with the family through email, corporate apologizing to them, and said given the seriousness of their concerns about how this was handled, corporate escalated it to the ethics team and store management.
Listen,
I'm Bella Caracta, Fox 4, working for
I'm
you.
not casting motivation as to why there were unpaid items in the grocery cart. All I know is this much. Someone at Walmart's job is to monitor self-checkout. If you don't pay for items, the off-duty cop is going to confront you. What then happens, what then transpires, sounds like it went downhill very quickly, as people were quick to assume the victim card and rip out the victim card. And then things get heated, and then things obviously escalate. But man, Walmart's saying we are apologizing. What is Walmart apologizing for? It's literally doing the job. People overreacting, and you hear people in background saying, we paid for everything. Well, no, you didn't. And I'm not saying you were trying to steal $5 worth of sweet tea. I'm not suggesting that.
Wasn't organized.
I'm not saying that it may not have been a mistake. But my goodness, there's 2 sides on this thing. And the coverage of it was terrible. I mean, Fox 4's got to rechange its slogan. Working for you. How about working for the criminal? Gee, what are you doing, Fox 4? Get your act together there, man. This is, gosh, I mean, I take a few days off and local media it gets even more embarrassing on some of these stories.
I guess if you come across the border, across the river, and you steal less than $5, you're not really here at all, right? Yeah. I mean, we have a couple of crimes broken there. Right?
Yep,
or
exactly.
Rules, at least.
Yep, a bingo. Exactly. And, I don't think Walmart should be apologizing for anything. I don't think they owe anybody an apology. It's an unfortunate incident, but hopefully it's also a lesson for everybody involved. Hey, look at the receipt. Let me see what you got. And if immediately you get combative and unruly, you're going to have a problem with cops.
Such a store problem, though. People don't know how much money they have. They load up the cart, and then they sit there and check things until they get to their limit,
Well, that's true as
well.
well.
Isn't that annoying?
Yeah.
So kind of know how much money you got before you go shopping, folks.
That's a good idea.